You're cruising toward your favorite fast food spot, already imagining that juicy burger or those perfectly crispy fries, but when you pull up, bam! The lights are off, the doors are locked, and a sign reads, "Permanently closed." Sound familiar? You're not alone. This is happening everywhere, and the real reason behind it? It's not what you think. Fast food has been a staple of American life for decades. Quick, cheap, and satisfying. But now, some of the biggest names in the industry are vanishing right before our eyes. From Burger King and McDonald's to TGI Fridays and Red Lobster, over 1,000 locations are shutting down nationwide. And this isn't just some random trend. It's part of a massive shift in the fast food industry, one that could change the way we eat forever. So, what's really going on? Are these closures a sign of economic collapse? Are customers ditching fast food for healthier options? Or is there something deeper, something big corporations aren't telling us? In this video, we're breaking down 12 major fast food giants that are shutting down stores across America. We'll dive into why this is happening, which brands are at risk next, and what it means for the future of fast food. And trust me, you'll want to stick around until the end, because some of these closures are happening in secret, and you won't believe who's next on the chopping block. Let's get into it. 1. Burger King is one of the biggest names in fast food, but right now they're in serious trouble. Over 400 locations across the US are shutting down, many with little to no warning. So what's going wrong? First, franchise owners are struggling. Running a Burger King isn't cheap. Rent, wages, and ingredient costs have skyrocketed. Some franchisees can't keep up, forcing them to shut down locations or even file for bankruptcy. Second, fierce competition, let's be real. Burger King just isn't as popular as McDonald's or Wendy's anymore. Many customers say the food quality has slipped, while others complain about slow service and outdated stores. Third, corporate missteps. Remember that infamous moldy Whopper ad? Burger King thought it would prove their food was fresh, but instead it grossed people out and hurt their brand image. But here's the twist. Burger King isn't giving up. They're pouring millions into remodeling stores, improving service, and focusing on drive-thrus and digital orders. Will it be enough? Or is Burger King on the path to extinction? 2. McDonald's is the biggest fast food chain on the planet, with over 40,000 locations worldwide. You'd think they were unstoppable, but even they aren't safe from store closures. In 2023, McDonald's quietly shut down hundreds of underperforming locations across the US, and more closures are on the way. Why? First, corporate strategy. Unlike struggling chains, McDonald's isn't going broke. Instead, they're cutting low-performing stores and investing in locations that bring in big money. Their goal? Fewer, better restaurants. Second, the rise of automation. McDonald's is going all in on AI-powered drive-thrus and robot kitchens. Some locations have already cut staff, and in the future, you might order from a fully automated McDonald's. Third, higher prices. Let's be honest, McDonald's isn't as cheap as it used to be. Prices keep creeping up, and some customers are skipping McDonald's altogether because it's just too expensive. But don't expect McDonald's to disappear. They're shifting toward digital orders, self-serve kiosks, and modernized locations. The real question is, will people accept a McDonald's with fewer human workers and higher prices, or will they move on to competitors? Only time will tell. But one thing's for sure, the fast food industry is changing fast. 3. Wendy's is famous for fresh, never frozen beef and a social media game that roasts the competition. But behind those clever tweets, the chain is struggling big time. In 2023, Wendy's announced the closure of over 140 locations across the US, and more could be on the chopping block. So, what's going wrong? First, franchise struggles. Most Wendy's locations aren't corporate owned. They're run by independent franchise owners, and lately those owners have been getting crushed by high rent, rising labor costs, and expensive ingredients. For many, keeping the doors open just isn't profitable anymore. That's why we're seeing mass closures in certain areas. Second, outdated stores. Let's be real, some Wendy's locations look like they haven't been updated since the 90s. Customers expect modern, clean, and efficient service, but many stores haven't kept up. Instead of fixing every old location, Wendy's is choosing to shut down underperforming stores and remodel only select ones. Third, higher prices. Remember when Wendy's was an affordable fast food option? Well, those days are fading fast. Menu prices have gone up, and some meals now cost as much as a sit-down restaurant. And here's where things get really controversial. Wendy's wants to test surge pricing. That means menu prices could change throughout the day based on demand, like Uber's surge pricing. People are furious. Will customers accept dynamic pricing for fast food? Many say absolutely not. So, what's next for Wendy's? Despite the closures, they're not backing down. They're doubling down on drive-thru only locations, mobile orders, and AI-driven service. But with rising prices and fewer locations, will Wendy's survive the long run? Only time will tell. 4. KFC has been the go-to name for fried chicken for decades. While the brand isn't disappearing, it is closing multiple locations, especially dine-in restaurants. Why? Because people aren't eating inside anymore. Fast food has changed. Customers now prefer drive-thru, delivery, and mobile orders over sitting inside a restaurant. Dine-in sales have plummeted, so KFC is shutting down its larger old-school locations and replacing them with smaller, takeout-focused stores. But that's not the only problem. First, fierce competition. KFC isn't the only fried chicken game in town anymore. Chains like Popeyes and Chick-fil-A are stealing customers with better deals, faster service, and more hype. KFC is struggling to keep up. Second, skyrocketing costs. The price of chicken, labor, and rent has soared, making it too expensive to run large dine-in restaurants. Instead, KFC is pivoting to drive-thru and digital orders. So, can KFC survive? They're testing new store designs and pushing online sales, but with fewer locations and growing competition, their future is uncertain. One thing's for sure, fast food is changing fast. 5. Taco Bell, the king of late-night cravings and wild menu experiments, is also feeling the heat. Multiple locations across the country are shutting down, and it's part of a bigger trend hitting the entire fast food industry. Even the most popular brands are being forced to rethink their strategies as costs rise and customer habits shift. So, why is Taco Bell closing stores? First, rising operational costs. The price of ingredients, labor, and rent keeps climbing, and for some locations, it just doesn't make financial sense to stay open. These closures are mostly affecting underperforming stores, places where sales are too low and overhead is too high. Second, the shift to drive-thru and delivery. More customers are ordering online or picking up from the drive-thru, and fewer people are sitting inside to eat. Taco Bell is adapting by focusing on smaller, more efficient locations designed for quick service and digital transactions. But don't worry, Taco Bell isn't tapping out. They're doubling down on new technology, futuristic restaurant designs, and digital innovations to stay ahead. Will these changes help Taco Bell stay on top? Or are we seeing the beginning of a fast food shakeup that even the biggest names can't survive? 6. Subway has been around for decades, built on the promise of fresh, made-to-order sandwiches. But in recent years, the chain has been struggling to keep up, forcing them to shut down hundreds of locations across the U.S. So what went wrong? First, inconsistent quality. Subway is a franchise-based company, meaning every location is independently owned. Some deliver fresh, great-tasting sandwiches, while others not so much. This hit-or-miss experience has made customers lose trust in the brand. Second, tougher competition. People now want faster, higher-quality sandwiches, and chains like Jimmy John's and Jersey Mike's are winning customers over. Meanwhile, Subway has been slow to evolve, still relying on its old-school sandwich-making model. Third, changing health trends. Subway built its brand on being the healthier fast food option, but newer, trendier fast casual chains are doing it better. With more focus on fresh, organic, and sustainable food, Subway is struggling to keep up with the demands of younger, more health-conscious consumers. But Subway isn't giving up. They're trying to rebrand, revamp their menu, and modernize their stores. The big question is, will it be enough to stop the closures? 7. Dunkin' has been a staple of coffee and breakfast culture for years, serving up hot coffee, delicious donuts, and quick service to millions. But even this beloved chain isn't immune to today's fast-changing food landscape. Multiple Dunkin' locations across the U.S. are closing down as the brand makes a strategic shift to stay competitive. So what's happening? First, tougher competition. Dunkin' is no longer the only game in town. Starbucks, local coffee shops, and even fast food giants like McDonald's and Chick-fil-A are stepping up their coffee and breakfast game, pulling customers away. With so many options, Dunkin' has to fight harder to keep its loyal fan base. Second, the franchise problem. Dunkin' grew fast by using a franchise model, but that while some stores thrive, others struggle due to poor management, bad service, or outdated facilities. To fix this, Dunkin' is shutting down underperforming locations and focusing on high-performing ones. Third, the shift to digital orders. More customers are ordering ahead on apps or getting their coffee delivered instead of walking in. Dunkin' is adapting by investing in mobile-first stores with faster service, fewer dine-in areas, and more drive-thrus. Despite the closures, Dunkin' isn't backing down. They're improving their menu, embracing new technology, and leaning into online ordering to stay ahead. But the big question is, will these changes be enough to compete in an increasingly crowded coffee market? 8. Pizza Hut has been a household name for decades, famous for its deep dish pizzas and red roof dine-in restaurants. But times have changed, and so has the way people order pizza. That's why Pizza Hut is making a bold move, shutting down many of its dine-in locations and shifting focus to takeout and delivery. So why the sudden change? First, consumer behavior has shifted. Let's be real. When was the last time you sat down inside a Pizza Hut to eat? These days, people prefer to order online and get their pizza delivered rather than dine in. As a result, those big dine-in locations just aren't as profitable anymore. Second, the competition is fierce. Domino's and Papa John's have built fast, streamlined delivery models that make it easier and quicker for customers to get their pizza. Pizza Hut's old-school sit-down restaurants just can't keep up with that level of speed and convenience. Third, rising costs. Keeping up large dine-in restaurants is expensive, with high rent, labor, and ingredient prices cutting into profits. That's why Pizza Hut is closing down old dine-in spots and focusing on smaller, more efficient stores designed for delivery and carry-out. But don't count Pizza Hut out just yet. The brand is experimenting with smaller store formats, improving online ordering, and adding tech-driven features like mobile apps to keep customers engaged. The big question, will this shift help Pizza Hut dominate the delivery game, or will it fall behind in a world where speed is everything? 9. Chipotle has built a loyal fan base with its fresh, customizable Mexican dishes, making it a go-to spot for fast casual dining, but even this powerhouse chain is feeling the squeeze. With rising costs and shifting consumer habits, Chipotle is closing select locations across the U.S. and rethinking its business strategy. So what's going on? First, skyrocketing costs. Over the past few years, Chipotle has faced massive increases in ingredient prices, labor costs, and rent. Running a restaurant isn't cheap, and some locations just aren't making enough profit to stay open. Instead of keeping struggling stores, Chipotle is doubling down on high-performing locations. Second, the digital shift. More and more customers are ordering through apps for pickup or delivery, reducing the need for physical restaurant spaces in certain areas. Chipotle is leaning into this trend by prioritizing locations that are better suited for digital orders and drive-through lanes, aka Chipotlanes. Third, growing competition. While Chipotle is still a top player, fast casual rivals like Qdoba and local Mexican spots are offering similar dishes at lower prices. This means Chipotle has to keep innovating to stay ahead, whether that's new menu items, better service, or a more efficient ordering system. But make no mistake, Chipotle isn't going anywhere. The brand is investing heavily in digital infrastructure, expanding menu choices, and tweaking restaurant designs to keep up with evolving customer demands. The big question? Will these strategic changes keep Chipotle at the top, or will it lose ground to competitors offering more for less? Papa John's has been a household name in the pizza world, but lately the chain has been closing underperforming locations across the U.S. With fierce competition, rising costs, and shifting consumer trends, Papa John's is facing serious challenges that could impact its future. So, what's happening? First, the competition is intense. The pizza game is more crowded than ever, with brands like Domino's and Little Caesars offering faster service, cheaper prices, and constant deals. This has made it tougher for Papa John's to stand out, especially in areas where multiple pizza chains are battling for customers. Second, operating costs are rising. Like many other restaurants, Papa John's is struggling with higher expenses for rent, labor, and food ingredients. Some franchise owners are deciding that it's better to shut down struggling locations rather than continue losing money. Third, the shift toward delivery and takeout. Customers are ordering more pizza online than ever, so Papa John's is adapting by focusing on locations that serve delivery and carry out customers more efficiently. The brand is even experimenting with smaller store formats and ghost kitchens to cut costs and improve delivery speed. But don't count Papa John's out just yet. They're rolling out new menu items, investing in better technology for online orders, and trying to keep up with changing customer demands. The real question, will these moves help Papa John's stay competitive, or will it get lost in the battle for budget-friendly high-speed pizza delivery? 11. Jack in the Box is known for its quirky menu, 24-hour service, and those iconic tacos, but even this late-night favorite isn't immune to industry challenges. The chain is closing down multiple underperforming locations across the U.S., signaling that things aren't as smooth as they seem. So, what's going on? First, declining sales and rising costs. Fast food is more competitive than ever, and Jack in the Box faces serious pressure from giants like McDonald's, Wendy's, and Taco Bell, all offering similar menu items at competitive prices. On top of that, ingredient costs and labor shortages are making it harder to keep locations profitable, especially in low-traffic areas. Second, shifting consumer preferences. More customers are seeking healthier options or choosing fast casual chains that offer higher quality ingredients. Jack in the Box, known for its huge menu and indulgent options, is struggling to appeal to health-conscious consumers. Third, digital transformation. Customers are ordering online more than ever, and fast food chains that adapt quickly, like Chipotle and Taco Bell, are thriving. Jack in the Box is trying to keep up by upgrading technology, improving online ordering, and testing new menu items like loaded fries and revamped sandwiches. But here's the big question. Will closing underperforming stores and tweaking the menu be enough to keep Jack in the Box relevant? 12. Next up, we have Hardee's, another fast food chain, shutting down select locations in response to rising costs and shifting market trends. While the wave of closures across the U.S. might just seem like corporate restructuring, there's actually more going on behind the scenes. Some of the biggest changes in fast food are happening quietly, but they could reshape the industry forever. Fast food chains like Pizza Hut and Papa John's are experimenting with ghost kitchens, kitchen spaces that operate without a physical storefront. These allow brands to focus purely on delivery while cutting costs on rent and operations. It's a game-changing shift that could redefine how we get our fast food. Fast food chains are doubling down on tech innovations to speed up service and reduce labor costs. McDonald's is testing AI-powered drive-thrus, automated kiosks, and even robots in some locations. These systems predict orders, take payments, and even prep food faster than humans. But while this means quicker service, it also raises big questions about job loss and the future of the fast food workforce. To keep customers engaged, fast food brands are constantly reinventing their menus. Whether it's plant-based burgers, bolder flavors, or limited-time collabs, these new items aren't just about variety. They're about survival. Did you know Taco Bell once had a beefy crunch burrito that fans loved, only for it to be discontinued despite its popularity? Or that Subway actually experimented with cookie dough pizza in certain regions? These limited-time menu items often create buzz, but when they flop or fail to meet expectations, they're quietly removed, sometimes even leading to store closures. Fast food has long been blamed for contributing to the global obesity crisis. But here's a surprising twist. Many brands are now trying to rebrand themselves as health-conscious. Chains like Chipotle and Subway are adding bowls, salads, and lower-calorie meals to attract healthier eaters. It's ironic. The same brands once known for junk food are now marketing themselves as better-for-you choices. And let's talk about how social media and cancel culture have shaken up the fast food industry. In 2020, Chick-fil-A faced backlash over past donations to anti-LGBTQ organizations, leading to sales declines and closures in certain areas. Similarly, Papa John's had a major PR crisis after its founder made controversial remarks, forcing a leadership change and a brand overhaul. Even one struggling location can create a domino effect. When a franchise-based chain like Subway or Wendy's closes one store in a region, it can trigger more closures nearby. Why? because customers start seeing the brand as failing or losing popularity, making franchise owners cut their losses and shut down additional locations. The days of business as usual are over. Fast food chains can't just rely on their old school strategies anymore. They have to adapt, innovate, and keep up with shifting consumer trends. We've seen giants like Taco Bell, Subway, and Papa John's struggle with rising costs, changing customer habits, and intense competition. Some brands are fighting back with tech upgrades, menu overhauls, and delivery-focused business models. Others are fading away as their traditional methods fail to keep up. But here's the big question. Will these changes be enough to save them? Or are we witnessing the slow decline of some of the biggest names in fast